Oh boy. You can kind of see the outline of my face there on the stream. Now it's very red. Now you can see a much bigger outline of my face. And my dog immediately jumped up at the, yep, there he is. At the sound of me talking, as he always does. Um, as soon as I start talking in one of these videos, the first thing he does, is he jumps on my lap. So, yeah, I'm just petting my dog here. Twisted says, "Hey friend, hey Twisted, nice seeing you here. You shut up to the live stream fast. Usually, usually people tend to take a while." Raymond Ramos says, "Do you and Red have beef?" Um, I mean, I don't really have any beef with him. Like, I don't really care about the whole situation. I I made my video. Oyasumi Star. Hello, C. Good morning, Nega. Hello, Flitz. The gang's all here. Um, but yeah, I made my video on Red basically just trashing him and his fan base because I thought it was funny. Like, I don't even really care about Red as a human being. Like, not very much at least. And so when I made that video, I was mainly just trying to agitate people. Like, I said things in that video that I don't even really agree with. Like, for example, I said greed is good, which, if you know anything about me, I don't believe that greed is good. But I just said really inflammatory things in that video, and that was sort of the point of it. It was to agitate people. Um, to agitate people, to make people mad, and it seemed to have worked. Some guy called me a coomer in the comments section, which was pretty funny. It seemed to have made Red pretty angry and made his friends pretty angry, and mission accomplished basically. Um, I like the idea of me being like this pro wrestling character. This pro wrestling character that on one end of the corner we have the egoist, objectivist, libertarian Star, against the trad MGTOW incel Red, who's actually just a simp now, but we don't talk about that. So it's like, it's like on two corners we have the battle of the century being duked out between, these megalomaniacal figures. um it's pretty cool. Star, the man who doesn't even care about anything or anyone. You're defining the word beef. Oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, like I get into arguments with people all the time just about like the nature of things, like not caring about things. Where like so many of the arguments that I get into are literally just about things not existing. This happened just earlier today. Was that I was getting into an argument with someone over like what the definition of real was, and basically my point was that you couldn't define it because nothing is ultimately real, and that basically defines my worldview. Is that I don't believe in anything, I don't really care about anything, or anybody. Um, and that's the basis of where I'm coming at things from. And so when I make a video like that, it's not because it's like, oh yeah, man, I'm gonna get Red on this one. It's like, no, it's just funny. It's a joke. Everything I'm saying is a joke. Um, I feel like joining Red's Discord and saying, I have information that will result in Red getting arrested. If you ban me, you are silencing the truth. Yes. Um, Raymond Ramos is nihilist. I am a nihilist. Normies don't even exist. I mean, this is true. They basically don't exist. Like normie means something completely different depending on who you're talking to. And so like I hear people on the TV news now using the word normie, where they call like during the Democratic primary now, if you watch something like The Hill with Crystal Ball and Sagar, that other guy, they constantly use the term normie Democrats. constantly. They'll say normie Democrats, and it's like, wait a minute. So these guys who are total normies, they both have kids, they both have well-paying jobs at a news organization. They're using the word normie now. Like normie is just part of the popular lexicon. Like normal people just use it. Um, and so uh, it doesn't mean anything anymore. The word's lost its significance. And so it basically just means whatever you want to, depending on who's using it. Like normies use normie now. At that point, it doesn't mean anything. Red low key a Chad. I mean, it depends on what your definition of Chad is, but like if you just mean someone who's like looks physically pretty good and has a lot of sex, then yeah, red would be a Chad. Um, let's see. Red, MGTOW who hates women and is going his own way. Red, getting into a relationship that made him lust crazily after women. No, that's the thing though, is that like he calls himself a MGTOW, but like he just had sex with that XYZ bitch or whatever her name was. And it's like he's gonna do it again because the only thing that brings him pleasure is just having sex. He doesn't enjoy being alive. Um, he doesn't enjoy making the videos as much as he used to. He just wants to have sex. He's the definition of a coomer, you know? And I remember Red, back in his old Discord, back when like the Discord was like 20 people or something like that. He called himself asexual. He said, I'm asexual. And it's like, looking at his current arc, the only thing he can talk about is sex now, you know? That's his MO. Um, but autism, 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 autism. Yes, hello, no thank you. Nice to see you. What? Normies exist. What the fuck? They call people a normie on TV. US is cringe. US is cringe. Um, I've never heard the word normie in a normie-esque context. I still enjoy the privilege of living in a not English country. I see. Let's all love Lane. Let's all love Lane. Yeah, no, Lane is great. I'm loving Lane every single day. Um, but yeah, I just had a shitty microwave burrito. It was the last one we had there. Um, I tried eating some sandwich meat. I tried eating some sandwich meat that was in the fridge, and the sandwich meat tasted very, very, very bad. Let me tell you, it did not taste normal. It did not taste normal. So I basically just spit that out. It was really bad sandwich meat, and I had a single microwave burrito. There's no microwave burritos left. I I have been eating those microwave burritos for like every single day, because that's basically been like the only other thing that was there. Um, let's all get drunk. I don't have any alcohol. If I had alcohol, I would be asleep already. I would have gone to sleep several hours ago. Um, I don't have any pot either. I used up all my pot like a retard. I was just smoking it the entire day instead of spacing it out. I mean, I knew I was gonna do that. Like, I knew full well the implications of what I was doing, so I can't complain, you know. What's the time in Kentucky? It is 12:47 a.m., almost 1 a.m. here. But no, thank you. You ever heard of the Conrad Collins autism spectrum theory? Yes, he has. I believe he made a video adding on to the theory as well. I don't remember which one, but um, I've been watching crackhead videos for the past hour. Nice. I enjoy watching Nick Land interviews as well. No, thank you. Have you ever seen have you ever seen an anime from the year 2005? I'm literally talking about it in Jalen Harris's server right now. That's pretty based. Um, but yeah, like I, you know, I've just been dealing with eating shitty food. Like the food here is so bad. It's like all really, really like cheap shit. That doesn't have a lot of taste. A lot of it's like the same shit. And that's my fault because I had the money to buy better food and I didn't do it. So that's also my fault. Um, so I'm just sort of dealing with it. It's not that big of a deal. But I don't know, like I wish I ate more. Like I don't eat nearly as much as I should. I weigh like 110 pounds. Like if you're 5'9", 110 pounds is like severely underweight. So I probably should do something about that, but I don't know. Stop being a normie and watch Horizon on the Middle of Nowhere? I'll watch the show eventually. You gave it a big enough, a glowing enough review. I'll watch it eventually. It's just not right now. Um, but it was really funny watching Radcon 4 live streams and seeing a bunch of names which I would normally see in this chat right here. That's comfy. That's a comfy feel. Familiarity, seeing the same people. You're gonna hate it? Who knows? Maybe I'll love it. I mean, I've liked some things that are really like unabashedly anime before that aren't structured very good. So, I was drunk and donated to Radcon twice. Fuck alcohol. Hmm. I haven't yet had. Well, is that true? No, I've bought stuff without. Wait, have I? Hmm. I think I've given money to people when I've had alcohol before. So yeah, I've basically done the same thing. Did or not? No, thank you. Did. I know what you mean, Flitz. I've seen Dad gun around in random nukes of the internet. It's fucking weird. I think that guy doesn't watch my streams anymore. I think I think I think I basically scared him away from the live streams because I kept telling him he was wrong about pessimism and some other philosophy shit. And I think he just got fed up with me because he kept telling me to cite a source. If he had me on Discord, I would send him a source. Like I've had people who I've argued with in these live streams who have me on Discord, and then uh, after the stream, I would send them sources for, stuff that we talked about. And so he kept just autistically asking for a source when that wasn't the point of anything that I was saying. I was just sort of making the argument in a casual live stream setting, but he just like obsessed over this minute detail. Where if he had me on Discord, I'd be like, yeah, sure, no problem. I'll just send it to you. I've sent people a whole bunch of sources before. If they just ask me, that's all you have to do is just ask. But once you start telling me, "Oh, bro, you've got to log into your PC and type in the long ass fucking password for your YouTube account," that you don't have written down anywhere and you just recite from memory, like that, I'm not going through that effort just to send a couple of sources in a text chat. I'm not doing that, you know. Um, so he was very annoying, and I told him that he was annoying. And so I don't think he watches my streams anymore. But yeah, I've been trying to get to bed. I took some diphenhydramine, and it basically did nothing to help me get to sleep. I call bullshit. I call bullshit on diphenhydramine helping people sleep because it does not help me. Maybe I'm just a notoriously difficult person to get to sleep, but it does basically nothing for me. Uh, but yeah, I don't really watch the PCP live streams. Like I don't really keep up with the procrastinators in general. I listen to a couple things that they did because of RadCon. I like the weird little shit posts they're posting on their channel now that are like 2, 3 minutes long. I think that stuff's fun. I enjoy that they're doing stuff like that. But in general, I haven't really been paying attention. Um, Flexeril doesn't put me to sleep, even though it knocks other people out. I see. Most of the time, your body builds up tolerance to sleeping medication. That's why you can't fall asleep. I mean, I don't even regularly take diphenhydramine to get to sleep. Like I've only taken it every now and again to do that. So I don't know. It's just never worked very well. But I do get what you're saying. Like, sleeping medications that I've had in the past, if I've taken them like every single day, for example, they just completely stop working. So, um, I and I've developed tolerance and stuff for sleeping pills when I was very young. So I have a theory that developed my brain was developing at a time when I was taking lots of sleeping pills, and I think maybe it affected my sleep long term. I'm gonna go now. Okay, bye bye, Flitz. I'm waiting for the Radcon lectures. I feel like Amomorphs can top Chris Chan. Um, I didn't know. I don't even know what an Amomorph is. How many tabs do you have open on average, Star? I don't tend to go outside of like 3 or 4 nowadays. See, back there was a long time where I would have like 20 or 30 tabs opened, uh, just so I could switch between certain ones. And also, I did it in order to keep track of certain things. Is that I wanted to keep track of stuff. And so instead of just saving it somewhere, I just keep the tab opened. Um, but I I would like to flip through them every now and again as well. Nowadays, I just try to keep it strict, 3 or 4 tabs open. I don't try to go above that. Um, I have lots of sleeping medication that my doctor prescribed me, but they don't work. Yeah, it sounds like sleeping pill tolerance. Supposed to class in 4 hours, Amomorphs is an absolutely base book series about people who can transform into animals. I need to read it because I've heard it has an exceptionally dense lore since the books are mass produced for children. Yeah, I had never heard of that before. It sounds kind of fun. It's a very autistic kind of hobby to have. I like stuff like that. Um, but yeah, I don't tend to. I have a bunch of shit open, but it's driving me crazy because it's so cluttered. There's too much cool stuff to do. I actually like clutteredness. I think clutteredness can be fun, but not in the context of computer. When a computer is cluttered, it just makes things more difficult to do. It's not even that it's annoying per se. Like I can live with a cluttered computer, and I can live with it well enough to not do something to actually fix the problem, you know. That's how I am about most things. Like most problems, um, I tend to like at least like problems that are physically around me, not like in my own head, you know what I mean? I just tend to just leave them be. Like they don't significantly bother me enough, so I just let them be. So let's say like I do open like 20 tabs in an especially weird day. I'm not going to go through and try and close all those tabs so my focus will be better because that would be the more efficient thing to do. That's the more efficient route to go. I just wouldn't do that because I wouldn't have the motivation to care enough. Like without that the emotional component telling you like, hey, you know, taking these 5 steps to do this one thing would probably be a moderate improvement. It's well, like why? You know, well, why put in the effort? It's not that big of a deal, you know? And then that's how I am about so many things. Like I'm very, very aloof. I'm very, very aloof about most things. Um, but I don't know why I brought that up. But oh yeah, crazy shit is that there's too much cool stuff to do throughout the day. Um, it also has a subplot about how a guy became an armada of sentient spaceships and then he becomes God by driving these ships into various black holes. And before he was an armada of spaceships, he was the sole survivor of a sponge that stimulated dead bodies sentience or some shit. And the main characters have to grapple with committing genocide on their race of their enemies. Nice. I mean, yeah, that sounds like some pretty heavy shit to deal with in a children's book. Um, Chaka Chaka says Drift Smoke. Hey, I've never seen you before. Hey, speaking of smoke, did you guys ever watch my video Poetry is Cool? I was wondering what people thought about that video because I didn't get a lot of comments on it, but I was pretty proud of the writing in that video. I thought I did a good job on the writing. Um, I received a couple suggestions from my friend, Insane Idiot, which went a long way. But I like the way it turned out. I haven't seen it yet. Oh, okay. But yeah, I hope when people get around to watching Poetry is Cool, they'll let me know what they think of it, because Poetry is Cool is so unapologetically written. It's pretty kino. Hey, thank you. Yeah, that was definitely part of the intention, is that I wanted it to be exactly what it is, you know? Not for anybody else, not meant to be a certain thing. I just wanted it to be what it is. And I wasn't gonna pull any punches on that front. So I'm glad people appreciated that. Uh, some of those lines in that script were very like I'm just gonna punch you in the face right now. like like it was some I like the edginess. Yeah, it was such a pretty good video. I had also enjoyed the writing before you uploaded the video. I liked the part about the smoking too. Perfectly written, man. Hey, thank you. Um, I appreciate it. Writing is one of my favorite things to do. Like, I wanna write more. I already write, you know, from time to time, but I like writing is just so much fun for me. I want to do it more often. Oh, it's a very therapeutic exercise. Star, you should have read Douglas and Ribbit ear raping us. You should have heard Douglas and Ribbit ear raping us last night. Yeah, I was asleep. I was long asleep while you guys were VCing. Man, it sounded like you guys had a party while I was asleep. Like, I didn't even know Ribbit had the ability to ear rape, because last time I heard he didn't have a mic. Um, damn. Howdy Star, loved the poetry video. Hey, thank you, thank you. Based Lane Avatar, by the way. Uh, I would love it if you made more videos like Poetry is Cool. Hey, yeah, I mean, it's more stuff like that is coming down the pike. The thing is, I only have so many personal stories to draw from, and so in order to kind of inform the writing, I need to have more experiences. And so that's something that I'm looking forward to this year, is that I want to try and get a lot more hands-on experiences, and I'll have more stories to tell as time goes on. Um, you know, like if you're just staying completely isolated in your room, there's a number of things you can write about that, like, and you can write creative things, but like the kind of the kind of experiences that I like to share from my past, those dry up eventually, you know? Like, I can tell you stories from when I was younger, or from, a year ago, or a couple years ago, but there's only so many of those I can give. And there's quite a few there. Like, there's more videos that are definitely going to come out of those previous experiences. But like, um, I need to have more in order to keep the writing going, you know? I'm glad you got sleep though. Thank you. Um, Thanks, dude. Lane is my favorite anime. It's one of my favorites. It is a great show. Um, are you thinking of becoming a writer? And then Molly Bloom says that wouldn't be a bad idea. Um, the problem with me is that I just have no discipline when it comes to writing. Like, writing is entirely a hobby for me. The moment that I try to put it into a kind of schedule and to make myself do it, that's when it stops being fun, and that's when the magic is lost. Like with Poetry is Cool and with Laundromats are Cool, which I think Laundromats are Cool is actually a better a more well-written video. And I thought it was a better story. But like, I don't know which one people prefer, but I prefer that one a lot more personally. Like, when the kind of passion it takes to write stuff like that, or just at all, like the kind of inspiration I have to write, um, it doesn't come, it doesn't come out of thin air. I have to like sit down and want to do it. Um, but the idea of being a writer, and having like a schedule I'd have to go by, having people who would rely on me getting stuff done, um, I don't know. I don't know if I'd be able to do that. It seems like a lot of discipline that I just don't have. Like if I, if I got more, if I got more subject matter that I would work with, and if I found myself being more consistent, who knows? Like maybe my writing style will translate into something that is more consistent. I just have to keep doing it. Like, but for right now, I can pretty succinctly say that I'm not cut out for being a career writer. I mean, like, who the hell would buy my writing anyway? Uh, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't left my room since my exams in December, and I'm not creative enough to write. I can read, though. It's one of my favorite hobbies to pass the time. As of late, I'm reading Invisible Man. Yeah, yeah, I'm glad you picked up Invisible Man. It is a good book. Um, Laundromats are cool is really weird for me because I remember going to a laundromat as a kid and playing video games on my mother's phone. That's kind of comfy. People who grew up with phones I find to be so weird because I never actually interfaced with like a smartphone until the year, what was it, 2017? 2017 or 2018. I had never touched a smartphone before. So like when people talk about the idea of playing video games on their parents' phone when they were like a little kid, it's totally alien to me. So I had never even, I didn't even have, like a smartphone at home until 2017, and it's actually the phone that I'm using right now. So it feels weird. How about a novel or even a collection of fiction? I would not be able to write a novel. Like that's just too long-winded. I would lose interest immediately. I would get done with like the first 5 pages and then I would want to tell a different story. Um, so I think I could do a collection of fiction though. What I really like doing is short stories. If I could make like a collection of short stories, I think it would be fun. Um, just start small and you'll eventually be able to create a consistent schedule, but that takes effort. That takes effort. You don't understand. It takes effort to do that. I mean, like maybe maybe it wouldn't take effort. What was it called? This was before smartphones? I don't understand what you're on about, Arrowwind. C is the same age as me. So I don't know what you're on about. But Haruki Murakami is my favorite novelist, and a bulk of his good work are collections of short stories. No, no, the comment above that? Huh? Comment above? What comment above? Did it not send? Yeah, it did not send. Um, I haven't watched anime in a fat minute. Y'all got any recommendations? I can't think of anything. I don't know. Watch Hidamari Sketch. Just watch that. Um, but yeah, a collection. If I were to write something like in the form of a book, it would be a collection of short stories, which I think I could pull that off if I tried hard enough. But um, Star, none of the arguments you said against becoming a writer were convincing. I don't know, maybe you have more faith in me than I have in myself. Who knows? Um, most of the best authors just did it as a hobby, so you'd be among the greats. Oh, thank you. No, I appreciate that. Um, as of right now, I'm watching Chaos Head. It's that is the show with the hikikomori in it. I've watched like 10 episodes. It's pretty bad to be honest, but I gotta complete a show somehow. Um, This one, same. My mom bought this Ratchet and Clank 2D platformer on her Nokia. And then it says YouTube was blocking a link of a picture I was trying to send. Oh, okay. You can just send the picture on Discord. But um Yeah, no, like the idea of becoming a writer professionally is just so alien to me because I just love doing it. Like it's just something that I enjoy doing. So the idea of me being forced to write to sell it to people, that to me is really weird. Um, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I'll get there eventually. I'm only 17. So I mean I turn 18 in like a month. So I guess in a month I could start saying, "Well, I'm only 18," you know. So that's like 60 more years I have left or whatever. Or yeah. Yeah, that'll work. 78. That's going a bit too far. I don't think I'll live to 78. Who knows? That's like, let's be on the safe side and say that's like 50 more years I have left. Okay, that's fair enough. Um, you're a talented writer for your age, Star. Thank you. No, I appreciate that. Like, I don't even know where it comes from. That's the thing is that, like, I've practiced a bit here and there, but a lot of the shit, like, it just comes off the top of my head. Like, pretty much everything I write is stream of consciousness. Like, I almost never edit my shit. It just comes out. I don't even know where it comes from. It's just something that I feel and then I say it. Uh, or like compared to other people, I've had very little practice. I don't know where it comes from. Like it's difficult to put into words. It's just a feeling that I have. And then I feel the feeling and I start seeing the sentences and then I just put the sentences down because like I have to get the feeling out that way. That's the way that I deal with the memory. That's the way that I express the feeling that I have is just through words. And it's almost like it's part of a routine. It's like it's something that I need to do. That if I could pay someone money, like if let's say I was forced, by gunpoint to never write again or something, I would pay money. Or let's say we lived in like an authoritarian society where the only way you could do things like writing or creativity is by paying for them. I would pay money just to write. I would pay substantial sums of money just to be allowed to write because it's part of how I process, the world and my emotions. I don't know any other way to put it. I think your writing is pretty enjoyable. When I was reading your writing, it gave me a good feeling that I can't describe in words. I'm glad. No, I'm glad to hear that. It's rare that just like words evoke emotion for people when reading them, but it makes me happy I've been able to do that for other people. A lot of great writers have had this conflict about it being only a passion and fearing it becoming a job, and they have it figured out. I don't, maybe I'll get it figured out at some point. Who knows? I'm just I'm a bit too much of an arrogant bastard is that a lot of the time like and I think this actually has happened with you before, Molly Bloom, is that you'll make an argument to me that's really like logical and it makes sense and I'll just sit there and be like, "No, you're wrong." No, you're wrong because I have it this way and I have it figured out, which of course is not true. And then eventually I realized that I was the one who was wrong the whole time. But that's like the standpoint that I that I come from in a lot of arguments, especially when it's about something personal, is because I think I think people want to believe that they're correct about themselves. Like the reason people get so arrogant and so defensive about their own emotional state and like where they come from and who they are is because they want to believe that they're correct in their own self-assessment. But sometimes our biases are so strong that we need other people to help us take a step back and say, "Hey, hey, hey now, I think you're going a little bit too far with this, and maybe it's actually this other thing that you're not seeing because you're too stuck in your own head." Um, Ontological bias is a bitch. It really is. But I've had a lot of great moments with friends, friends who've just called me out on my bullshit and just told me that I was retarded because I did something. And it was hugely beneficial to me in the long run that they told me that. And I advocate for it. I think that if you're friends with someone, every now and again, they should tell you that you're retarded and be like, hey man, what you're doing here, this is not working. Or be like, hey man, I respect you, but I don't think you're right about what you're saying here. And they can take a couple steps back and they may not want to listen to it at that time. They may get angry at that time, but they got to hear it one way or another. And I'm very thankful for like the people online, like you, Molly Boom, and others, and friends of mine who have been able to tell me, like, to call me out on my shit, you know. Um, Imagine having friends, real edgy hours over here. I would have said that at some point. Um, Laundromats are cool, makes me feel cold and like I'm on a roller coaster. Absolutely based. That was, I don't know about the roller coaster part, but the cold part was definitely part of the intent. So that is good. Um, but yeah, I, for example, I had this cope that I've used for a long time about friendship is that I just assumed that I didn't want friends. That I looked back at who I was when I was very young. For like, you know, most of my life I was homeschooled, and most of that time I didn't even really interact with my parents or my brother very much. I just sort of stayed in the room by myself, and I made my own fun that way. And unlike other kids, I didn't get lonely or sit down and desire, I wish I had other people here. And so when I said like, oh, I've never really desired friends, bro, and these kind of things, like it's taking a memory which is true and correct. It's taking a context I was in which is true and correct. Um, and then forming a belief system around that when that's not the full story. Like who you were then is not who you are now. So you know, the thing, um, let's see, what was I gonna say? Yeah, so like you can't go off of what you've been doing for the last several years or what you were like several years ago when who you are now is a totally different person. But I've gotten into this very reductive reasoning many times as a way of legitimizing the things that I have to say, where, you know, oh, it has to be true because it's been so consistent, right? And I think I have trauma with this specifically is because I had the first friend group that I ever had ended in a really disastrous way, and it was traumatic for me in a lot of ways. And the thing that kept aching at the back of my neck again and again and again was inconsistency. Is that all of the you know, the closest friends that I had told me that I was inconsistent. And so for the longest time, when people would tell me that I'm inconsistent, it would be a trigger for me, like an actual trigger. It would trigger me because of how traumatic losing those friendships was. Um, and the specific like context in which those things were said of like yelling and these kind of things, like really like dark kind of messages, etc. So it was I wanted to be the most consistent guy because of that. I wanted to have the strongest principles. I wanted to, you know, like I read every single Marxist book you could ever read. And I was like, yes, this is what I believe, and I've believed this for years, and I will never stop believing this because this is correct. I was trying to do the polar opposite of what, you know, those guys were saying. And it wasn't genuine. It wasn't real. It was just like me trying to respond to the attack that I was inconsistent. Um, and so like I started using this language of, yeah, you know, I've had this feeling for 5 years, or I've had this feeling for the last 7 years, when really that context doesn't matter that much. I mean, it can be good as like an anecdote to say that you felt the same way about something for a long time, but in my case, emphasizing it so much came from a certain place. Like, the reason I wanted to emphasize that it was so consistent was because I was making up for insecurities that I had. Insecurities that I had towards those things, that it felt like those ideas and those feelings were on shaky ground, so I'm gonna have to justify them more. Um, and that's not really a healthy outlook to have. And I mean, I don't really believe in like health, quote unquote, as a concept. I just sort of I believe in happiness. And I think if you're doing, whatever you're doing to attain happiness in the long term, that's health. If I were to give one definition of the word, I'd give it that. But in my view, the term is so broad and can mean such different things to different people that even talking about health isn't really that productive. But because this is the English language and it's limited, and rather than communicating concepts to you in 2 paragraphs of me explaining these very specific nuances, I'm just going to use health as a shorthand for an idea that you basically know what I mean? So like, health, it's better. There was a point I was going to make out of that and I forgot what it was. Basically, uh, oh wait, I meant in an attainable way, not in an it's bad sort of way. Oh, okay. Um, that was to the imagine having friends thing. But yeah, yeah. Uh, there was a point I was gonna make. Fuck, I forgot what it was. God damn it. This is the problem, is that I forget things so readily that I can't remember the basic fucking point I was trying to make. Um, but yeah. Uh, fuck. Now I'm gonna be hung up. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So, it's very easy. Well, I don't know about easy to delude yourself, but it's like you can delude yourself into believing things that make you the most comfortable. If you're afraid of being rejected by other people, for instance, and you look at people and you think like, I've had these negative experiences with people, and so I'm going to make negative associations with people. And that is what your mind does. Eventually, after you get so many negative experiences with one thing, you just associate that thing with those negative experiences. And even subconsciously, your brain does that, where you can have a totally normal situation where that thing is present and it's not hurting you or doing anything bad, and your brain is still going to have a reaction to it because it's conditioned that way. Um, and so, one of the ways that people cope is by, for example, if they want friends and they've only had bad experiences with friends and they isolate themselves in their room. And I'm not even saying isolating yourself in your room is a bad thing. Like, if that's what you want, go for it. But there are people who don't want that, who aren't made, to be hikikomori. Someone like that guy, Madatsuki or Red, like, he's a perfect example, is that at his baseline, he's just a normie. Like, he wants to have lots of sex, he wants to talk about drama with people, he wants to be around people a lot. And to have people giving him attention. That's the way he lives. Um, and when he was isolated, like completely, it fucked his mental state up. It was bad for him because that's not the kind of person he was. But he believed that he was like that. I don't want any friends. I don't want to interact with people. I just want to be alone. And that's a cope. It's looking at, I've had these bad experiences with people, and so therefore all human beings are bad because I've had these bad experiences. And the brain, the brain has these ways of coping with things that, like, if you're not careful, you can catch yourself in a loop like that. What defines a normie? I mean, I went over that earlier. It basically doesn't mean anything. Again, I'm just using a shorthand. A lot of words don't mean anything. They're just used as shorthands for other things. Like, you get the basic idea of what I'm talking about. The specifics don't really matter that much at that point, as long as you understand. Um, but, yeah. What was I on about? I had a larger point I wanted to make. I forgot. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So, so I Wait, he was basically just coping by saying that humans are evil, but once he started getting out there and hanging out with his ex, he started figuring out himself, and all he does now is seeking attention. Yeah, yeah. And like, and I don't blame him for that, though that's the thing, is that that's what he wants to do. Yeah, that's in comparison to being isolated, that's a better kind of existence for him, you know? It doesn't mean it's a good existence to have, especially not the way he does it. I think he has a lot of really unhealthy and kind of immature ways of looking at people and the world as a whole. And it probably contributes to his mental illness a bit, but like it doesn't really, doesn't really matter. Um, it, it basically, people find ways of coping by telling themselves certain things. Um, and taking really like extreme positions. And I've done this in the past as well, with, for example, the "Why I'll Never Get Married" video. When I made that video, the mindset was like, I'm going to compile all of this information from, you know, most of the life that I've lived that I can remember, and I'm just going to tell you every single reason point blank while I won't get married. And I'm never going to get married. Like that point is solidified just because I think it ties you down in terms of freedom. Um, but same, I don't blame him for hanging out with females. I don't care if he's having friends because it's his way of his life. That's just how he would rather live than isolating himself. Yeah, exactly. Um, like when I made that video, I got a number of comments who were telling me, "Oh, this is like a black pill level cope, etc." And they had some good points. Like there were things in that video that I still stand by and that I still defend that I said, but some of the things I said and some of the ways I framed things were just copes. Or like example, giving examples of bad relationships I had, where throughout a lot of the relationship I was bored and I didn't talk that much and I would go off and be self-indulgent and things like that. And it didn't mean that every single relationship afterwards was going to be like that, that I was just always going to do them in a selfish way. But I presupposed that. I looked at it and I said, this is exactly how things are because they've been like this in these couple experiences. But those like two, three, four experiences, five, six, whatever, those aren't all the experiences you're going to have, especially not when those experiences coincided with one another over a gap of a couple years. That's just not how that works. You can't take these experiences that happened when you were so young and say this is going to define my entire life going forward. But I said that because I felt like I had something to prove. And that's the point of videos like that, is that it's not that what I'm saying was true, it's that I felt like I had something to prove. Is that when you feel like you have something to prove, a belief to justify, where that's coming from a lot of the time is a place of pain. Even if it's not that much pain, even if it's only like a little bit of pain, like uh I feel a little bit bad that that I can't have this, so I'm gonna I'm gonna find a way around it. Yeah, no, I never truly wanted it. Yeah, I never truly wanted that. Yeah, I'm gonna go on with my day now. And it becomes even more confusing for a guy like me who's generally aloof. Like I'm aloof to most things. I can be in a relationship or not be in one, and I won't really care that much. Like not being in one might bother me from time to time, but it's like it's nothing to be upset over. It's one of those things where it's like it's life just goes on. You might be upset about it for like, 10 minutes or something, but you just move on. You just don't care. And so you know, like for me, it's easier to buy into that kind of like black pill, like I never wanted it from the beginning because I'm just really aloof and calm most of the time. And that can that can set off certain signals in your brain that make things confusing, I think. But, weird that you referred to women as females. Um, Yeah, I mean, like Twisted is he's from Egypt, so he doesn't really use English the same way that like native speakers do. is that sometimes like people who are who grew up speaking a different language have these like idiosyncratic ways of speaking where they use certain words differently, and it gets across the same meaning. If you look in the dictionary, it gets across the same meaning relatively. Um, Apathy leads towards an unfulfilling life. It depends on how much apathy and towards what. If you have things that you enjoy and people you enjoy while being generally aloof to most things, then you're not apathetic, you know? And I wasn't describing being apathetic. I was describing being aloof. And I think being aloof is actually an ideal mind state to be in. I think people should try much, much harder to be as calm as they possibly can and to detach themselves from as many emotions as they can. I think that's a very, very healthy thing because it helps you just look at the world more logically and make better decisions. But at the same time, when it gets to the point of emotional suppression, and when you're not allowing yourself to enjoy certain things, that's going to be an unfulfilling life. Yeah. Um, but I think apathy is generally good depending on how it's used and how much. Like if you make yourself, completely if you make yourself get rid of any sort of enjoyment, then no, it's not a good thing. Um, how can I care less star help me? Uh, that's different depending on basically every person. I don't know you well enough, first of all, to be able to answer. Um, in my experience, almost dying helped a lot. Uh, the more have a near-death experience. I don't know, man. I'm not you. Uh, uh, oh no, I'm sorry. I'm not saying that apathy is the same as being aloof. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm a Cairo head, Caro head. I don't know how to say that. Um, but yeah, like if I were forced to live a life entirely isolated, I have a good feeling, and you know, and I could be wrong about this, like I said, but if I were forced to live a life entirely isolated, I have a good feeling I would be fine. You know, I think I'd probably be okay. Um, is that the life I would want to live, though? I don't think so. No. I would rather have people who are around me, people who I can speak to, people who I can connect with. I'd rather have those people close by, you know? I think that's an important thing to have. Hey Star, did you read 17776 after getting high? Oh yeah, that was posted. That was posted in my server, and I was smoking a lot of weed at the time. And so I think I never actually read it. No, 'cause I think I fucked off and I went to the other room to go do something else. Yeah, so I never actually read it. I completely forgot about that, bro. Um, it means he lives in Cairo. I thought he lived in Alexandria. What's up, says Big Kaido. What's up to you as well? Based light avatar from Death Note. I like that. Um, it touches on the absolute isolation theme a bit. Oh, okay, so it's kind of a star aesthetic type thing. Cool, cool. Um, but no, emotions are weird because I'm the type of person who wants to have narrative consistency. Like I want, and this is part of why like I gave up the concept of identity is that I don't believe identity is real, and I don't even try to have an identity anymore. But I used to try. I used to try really, really hard to have an identity, and part of that was narrative consistency. Was I would look at the person who I used to be and the things that I used to do, and I would believe that like that person who I was entirely defines who I am now. Um, and I would try to do things. I would try to make my personality more like who I used to be. Um, when the answer should always be to go forward. And like those past experiences are going to contribute to who I am now, they played a contribution in the way that I process things, but there's no way that I'm going to be the exact same person. And so I value that narrative consistency way too much. Like when I there was a time during the we call it the edgy arc. I don't know how many of you were around for the edgy arc, but I was making all of these videos during the summer of 2019 about how I hated people and society, and how I just wanted to kill everybody, and how because I did such terrible things when I was younger, I was just permanently a terrible person. You know, that was the way I viewed things. And what it came out of was essentially a desire, a desire to have a consistent human, like to be the same person all throughout the years, just so things would be simpler, just so I could understand and point to you exactly the kind of person who I am. But it's not that simple. You can't just point and say, yeah, I'm that. It would make everything way easier if we could do that, but you can't just point and say, that's what I am. Um, and maybe it comes out of a desire to be understood. I don't know. The cat's out of the bag. Guys, I don't know where that cat is. Oh no, it kept it out of the bag. Yes, he remembers. Um, and like and I have the capability of doing some pretty bad stuff. I may joke about doing bad stuff, but most of the time nowadays I would not do bad stuff. I would choose not to. I'd choose the path of least resistance, which is doing the right thing, or what would traditionally be considered ethically the right thing, at least. Um, and if we're talking in terms of actions as to what makes you good, I would say I've taken more good actions than bad actions as a whole. Um, so I don't know. It's very weird. It's very weird thinking about these things in a cumulative sense, like something that gathers over time. Um, yeah, I always act different with different friend groups. I don't know if that's bad. There's a concept in psychology, it's called code switching, is that your brain associates different people with different things. And so parts of your brain are going off that do not go off when you're around other people. And so that's like when you act different around other people, it may be conscious, but it could also be totally subconscious. Like I find myself doing this all the time around different groups of people. Subconsciously, I'll just start talking different because that's where my brain makes the connection. And there's a theory that maybe code switching is a survival skill, but we know that the brain does it. And so I wouldn't worry about it too much. It's just something people do. Uh, yeah. Code switching is normal. It can be fun because having many different friend groups can help you express and learn about different parts of yourself. Yeah. Um, I I like being the same everywhere I go. I try to make an effort now to be unabashedly the same. A part of it is because it just makes things easier, and it is more genuine as well. But when you're different, like you have way too many things to keep up with when you're different with different friend groups. My memory's bad, so I like to keep it simple. I just want to be the same person everywhere I go. I think most people have different faces for different social situations. It's not necessarily being fake, but it's a function of code switching that people can't help. Yeah, exactly what C said. In linguistics, people will naturally talk similarly if they are talking with a group. That is true as well. It's amazing some of these little social functions that people have that, like, they're very complicated. They just come up, you know? They just come up. Um, yeah. I turn on my PC. I don't think there would be anything interesting on the PC. Who knows? I like this. I like it when the computer does this. You get a nice light. See this over here? It's my little sticker. I don't know if you can properly see it. Uphold Hogest Posadas thought, and then it has a nuke with being dropped by alien spaceships onto a bunker, which is one of my favorite stickers. Did your sound come back, Star? The sound does not come back. The sound on this computer works. It's always worked, but on my desktop, which is you can't really see my desktop, it is not working. So I don't think I'm gonna get working sound on the desktop PC. I think the desktop PC is. I need to reboot this. I think the desktop PC is basically just dead. So if I want to listen to something with audio, I have to do it through here. And this Linux computer is like notoriously bad. It fails a lot. Um, it has a lot of problems, but it is what it is. I'll make do with what I have, I guess. Um, it's just kind of like there's not really a reason to use this computer unless you're like going on tour or something. That's like the only thing I use it for. Because you really don't want to use Tor on a Windows computer. What distro? This is Lubuntu. Um, uh, God damn it, it really is not working right now. I don't know what's going on with this thing. Maybe this PC stopped working too, who knows. But I just keep trying to make this thing work, and let's see here. But yeah, my Windows oh, there it goes. Okay, it wasn't inputting the keys. The keys weren't being input. Wait, it stopped again. The keys stopped working again. What the hell? Well, Lubuntu is owned by Amazon, and so I'm basically selling myself out from one corporation to another. But Lubuntu is still better than using Windows, like massively, massively better than Windows. Um, no working computer smartphone ARC. I've been on the smartphone ARC before. I mean, like, just this computer working is basically the smartphone ARC, because this computer, functionally, like anything that I would do editing wise on this computer, um, can be done on my phone. Like, I can't get Sony Vegas to run on here, so all of the Sony Vegas specific effects that I would want to do are non-existent. I just have very, very standard editing software that doesn't even work very well. Like, you can get Kdenlive on here, but Kdenlive doesn't run, so there's no point of even trying it, because it just doesn't run. Um, and so yeah, I have to deal with using the smartphone. And I mean, most of my videos are made on the smartphone anyway. It just kills me because I want to do things that are more creative. Um, Lubuntu is basically made for low specs computers and laptops. Windows won't run smoothly on old laptops. Yeah, yeah, that's what Lubuntu is for. That's why I have it on here. HitFilm Express. That I don't even think that's on Linux, but it wouldn't work anyway. Um, Anyone ever feel they don't know who they want to be? Sorry if it sounds like a dumb, weird question. No, I mean, I felt that way plenty of times. If we're talking about in terms of like jobs and stuff, I feel that way constantly. Is that I basically have no direction in terms of careers, none at all. The closest thing I could probably do is become like a train conductor. I think that'd be pretty cool. I think it'd be pretty cool to be a train conductor. Like, I conduct trains all day, and then I come home and I write a couple pages. That'd be kind of nice. But, but I don't know. I have ideas like that. I come up with silly ideas like that, but I never quite know for sure what it is. I never, I never sit down and just like, no, okay, this is absolutely what I'm going to be. It's very uncertain. It feels uncertain all the time. And maybe some of you hear me say that and you go, well, Star, you have a YouTube channel and you love to write and all this other stuff. You know exactly what you want to be. And I guess I have a better idea of it than some people, but I still don't feel like I have a direction, you know? I never know who I am. I just go with the flow. I mean, hey man, you don't have to know who you are. Like You can be self-aware of what you're experiencing and where you've come from, and I think that is important. But no one ever truly knows who they are, quote unquote, because who you are doesn't exist. Like it's a social construct. Identity identity changes all the time. Like the person you are today, you could be a totally different person just by waking up tomorrow. It's not really something that I think people should put a lot of stock into. Mm. Just being is underrated. Knowing who you are is redundant. Yeah. No, I think so much hardship with people would be avoided if they just didn't care about identity. Like, if people were less obsessed with who they are, they would be allowed to just be. Um, and I think that would be better. Power save performance? Which one? This would go performance. I want my computer to run better. Uh, let's see, what was I even seeking to do on here? That's my question. Just like what you like and then move on? Yeah, I'd say so, yeah. Oh, I mean, what's the point beyond that if you're just enjoying the things you enjoy, you know? Just go on ahead. I think that's basically what I do. I do a lot of this self-reflecting stuff on here, but none of it's super consistent. Yeah, just existing means constant change, but that's nice, you know? It's nice to have a change of pace. I never truly know who I am, but that doesn't bother me because I just exist and immerse myself in escapism. Now, I think escapism can be a good thing, um, but it can also be a very bad thing, depending. A lot of normies have a lot of confidence because they just accept the most shallow level of identity. Or maybe they just accept existing. Like, I found myself much, much more confident in some situations just by accepting that I exist. And that, like, what I'm saying may not be heard out by certain people here. Certain people here are probably going to judge what I'm going to say, but it doesn't matter because I just said it and I like it. And me liking it is enough of a reason for me to say it. And I think people get attached to that kind of energy. They like it when someone just speaks their mind. Oh, it's like the old dichotomy between people who are infamous and famous, is that if you're famous, you're inevitably going to be infamous at the same time, because in order to be famous, there has to be a degree of niche support. There has to be people who look at you and say, "That's my favorite thing." And if one person says that you're their favorite, there's going to be one other person who says that you're the worst. And those people who think that you're the worst just don't matter. Um, they, it's the people who do care enough. It's like yin and yang. The dark can't exist without the light. You need the people who think negatively of you for the people to think positively of you to exist. And so you have to accept that those negative people exist. And once you do that, it's free flowing from there. You can just say whatever you want, and there are going to be people who respect that, because a lot of people are insecure and they look at it and they're like, wow, this guy just does whatever he wants. He just says whatever he wants. I wish I could be like that. And then they're attracted to it. Um, and that's what I've sort of been trying to cultivate myself into, someone who just cares less. And I think that's a good mindset to have about things. Um, just existing is chill. I do wish I could motivate myself enough to get really good at certain skills, though. Drawing is fun, but drawing more complex things is enjoyable in its own way, and without practice, I don't have access to that. Yeah, like at a certain point, you have to learn how to become more consistent with certain things, and that's what I want to learn how to do with writing. Is how do I make my writing more consistent? Uh, if if I were to get significantly better at it, I'd have to do that. And the only way I can really think to do that is to have more experiences and to take in more reading, to read more stuff. and just to make it an effort to write once every single day, even if it's just a couple paragraphs. The fact that I started up on something uh, would, be a significant improvement. So I need to take in content to write about, which is experience, and I need to, to be doing more on top of that. As to whether or not I'll actually get it done, I mean, hey, I'm at the point in my life right now where I'm just kind of trying to relax. But it's not always going to be like that. Very soon, I'm going to be very uncomfortable. And it's through experiences exactly like that of being uncomfortable that we're forced to do many of the things that we've been avoiding the whole time. And some of the best things I've made have been made when I was very uncomfortable, because it was almost like it was forced out of me to do it. Let's see, at Erowid, for that, you have to make self-improvement your just existing. It won't be just existing until you normalize consistent self-criticism, and then from there on, improving will be existing. I did this for competitive Smash Bros. Like an idiot, but my Falco is sick. Nice. Um, how much of this do I have left? Something... Oh, this is a decent amount. Okay. It's not that bad. I wonder when Hikifag is going to show up. Hikifag's probably not going to show up today. But I've been seeing Hikifag in my comments section a lot more recently. And it's been funny because he subbed to me after I did that video shitting on Yoshika Miyako Red. And I don't think he realized that video was basically just a meme. Like I said, it was basically just pro wrestling style beef. Like I just cut a promo on Yoshika Miyako Red, and then uh, Hikifag with one of his alt accounts wrote like Mado Lord is the most cringe guy. I guess he combined Daniel Lord with with Madatsuki, so he said Mado Lord. Haha. Why does he care? Why is he so obsessed with Yoshika Miyako Red? I find that's so fucking weird, dude. And then on my Poetry is Cool video, um, this guy with Japanese characters in his avatar commented on the video, and then Hikifag responded to him saying, "Oh, are you that fake Hikikomori who was in my server a year ago?" It's like, what? Fake Hikikomori from a server a year ago? What? Why do you care? Why do you care? Like it was weird, and then they got into like a 7 comment long comment chain about that. It went on fucking forever. um and it was really weird. And then he said, don't listen to anything Red or Star says about me, you don't know the truth. And it's like, all right, calm the fuck down, man. It's like, I don't know what Hikifag is doing these days. Any variation of blue Gatorade is the best flavor. I mean, this is grape, so technically it's not blue. I mean, people tell me it's blue. I don't think this shit is blue. This looks purple to me. But yeah, it's basically blue. Who cares? Um, uh, Dude Reed twisted molested his younger sister, LMAO. I don't even know where he got that idea. He just makes shit up. The dude just makes shit up. Like when he said that he was getting married, if that dude has the time to be watching Star videos and Red videos as soon as they come out just to comment on them with 10 different accounts, he is clearly not married. I don't know what to say. Honeymoons are a big deal. Hiki needs a life, I agree. I feel like his life ended at the end of 8chan. He didn't have much of one in the first place. Yeah. No, he was an older guy. I know he was an older guy. He had a lot of emotional problems. Or like when you isolate yourself in your room for so many years, and the only way that you talk to other people is through image boards and like one inconsistent Discord server, uh it really fucks with the stability of your mental health. Some people, like Buddhist monks, they're just super fucking enlightened, and there are people who I've talked to online who have been isolated, or at least they claim to be, for like 6, 7 years, And talking to them, it sounds like they're all there. Mentally, they're all there. And they were a bit weird in the beginning, from the beginning they were a bit weird, but talking to them, they don't sound like Hiki Fag. They're consistent, they're clear, they're concise, and they have a lot of wisdom as well, because they've just spent so much time reading shit. Um, but those people are in the minority, those kind of like wise hermit type people who are online, those people are in the minority. It's people like Hiki Fag who, go completely insane from being isolated that long, who are in the majority. And I mean, he already had some pretty severe mental health problems to begin with, so it just compacted onto it. I miss 8chan. I miss 8chan as well. Um, and also, he said that he's working in a movie theater, but he has the time to comment on your videos. Yeah, time to comment on my videos at like 1:12 a.m. It's weird. I have the pass, damn it. Yes. Um, did YouTube censor you? Did they censor you for saying the fag word? Um, uh, but yeah, like, he's definitely an interesting fellow. I'd love to meet him IRL. Like, if Hiki Fag ever wanted to hang out in real life and just talk, I would love to sit down with that guy and just talk. I'd have a couple apologies I'd have to give, just, as a matter of respect. But to just like get get a full picture of what that guy's life was, without any of the lies, without any of the I'm getting married bullshit or any of this stuff, like just sit down and get a full picture of that guy's life. I think that would be really cool. I'd love to do it. Um, he doesn't like me very much. I don't think he'd want to. Maybe if I could make it like an ego thing, like a masked interview with the famous 8chan owner Hiki Fag, or 8chan board owner Hiki Fag, like, and he has like a voice changer in the interview that I'm recording. I don't know. Maybe I could make that a real thing. I don't know. A Hiki Fag documentary win? Dude, I would fucking love to make a Hiki Fag documentary. Straight up, if he's watching this stream posthumously, I don't know, whatever, when it's over. If he's watching the stream, yo, dude, you know what my Discord ad is? Hit me up. I will 100%. I will bring out the filming equipment. I will pay for everything. I would make a Hiki Fag documentary 100%. Um, dude, I remember when you both were talking on the phone. Yeah, no, I remember that too. It was an interesting experience. Um, I said Hiki Fag, professional meat hunter, based. History Channel at 3 a.m. Hiki documentary. Oh my god. I would love to be the person making the Hiki documentaries. Because I've been there. That used to be me. That used to be me being a Hikikomori. So I would have the cultural insight and the context into how to talk about it. Um, and it'd be cool. But yeah, no, like I would love to make like a well-edited movie with just him telling his whole life story, and I'd be 100% down. Fuck guys, that would be so hilarious. It would be pretty funny. Um Maybe I should try to contact him. Like when I have the money and the actual like equipment and stuff to do it, maybe I should contact him. Hikifag the documentary inside the mind of a hikikomori. I feel like that would actually get a lot of views too. Um, we could intersplice it with like scenes of us playing basketball over like the audio from one of the interviews of him, talking about like attacking his sister and stuff, and it's just like the footage like lingers on the ball when it's dropped down as the camera sort of pans away as he's talking about that. I could already see the fucking images in my head. See, this is the way I think, right? as soon as I come up with an emotion for a scene, I immediately put an image to it. It's the same thing with writing. As soon as I come up with an emotion for a script, I immediately come up with the first sentence and I just go. Like that's once I have a I need to make this a real thing. I need to make this a real thing. Like when he's talking about his I don't want to spoil now. Based unironically, you could probably do a web series on Neats. The Hiki docs always get good views. You don't even know the true term Hiki. I really want a documentary that isn't made by normies. Yes. It would be based. Oh boy. I could have I could have a guest voiceover by one of my really autistic sounding friends to voice one of the big comments he did about the true definition of hikikomori, and it could be over like footage of us hanging out at his frat house or whatever. um yeah, it would be cool. It would be like the live action bits from Otaku no Video. It really would. But I'd want to take it a degree further. Ugh. Yeah. I wanted to be a film student for a while. Have I ever talked about that? There was a time when I used to want to be a film student and make movies. You should get someone with a thick European accent to do the dubbing. That'd be so sad. B-roll while they talk about how much they hate people. Yes. Um, but yeah, there was a time when I used to want to be a film student for a while. Ugh. I don't. If I go to college, I'll probably just get a writing degree or something. I don't know. Ugh. Oh no. I have a family member who told me that I should get a pharmacology degree because whenever I talk about like the way that drugs chemically interact with your brain, they told me that I sound exactly like a pharmacologist. So I've had I've had different careers that people have told me that I should look into. I think that would like actually studying pharmacology is fun, but I feel like doing the kind of work that would come with that would would not be my style. Throwback to Bottom Nurse Star. Yes. That was an idea for a while, is that I was like, what if I just went to college and became like a nurse or whatever? Like uh, but of course the amount of effort that would actually take vastly exceeds anything that I would want to do or be capable of doing. But at that time, I was just coming up with any plan because I needed any plan that like could get me across the finish line. I would do, because I just had no plans and I desperately wanted a direction to have in life. Hmm. I just desperately wanted a direction. It is a weird place to be in, you know. My Switch is here. I don't think she's charged. What was I even looking for on the PC? What's going on Lane Chan? Well, you want to go to my favorite boards on Lane Chan? Let's go to Lane Chan. My favorite board on Lane Chan. Let's go. What's going on DRG? What's going on? What are people up to? Let's see. Ooh, this is a cool picture. Yeah, Lane Chan. Do any lanes have experience in making DIY smokes? This is more so directed towards alternative herbs such as lavender and mint rather than traditional cannabis and tobacco. I want to know If anyone has good or favorite recipes, for example, I like a blend of cane sugar-soaked lavender, re-dried and put into cigarette rolls. That sounds fucking fascinating. What the hell? Um, it really helps with calming me down and overall smells and tastes like much better than traditional tobacco. If you have any other suggestions, such as good places to get wrapping paper or herbs, that would be great too. I mix tobacco and herbs. Mint and lavender are recommendable. Obviously, nicotine cannot be found elsewhere, so you usually mix them, but you don't have to. Um, let's see here. Fucking fascinating shit. Uh, let's see here. For some reason, Lane Shan makes me think of the Wii Nunchuck. I'm not really sure how you get that sense. Do you guys ever wonder what it'd be like dropping everything and living in the countryside? It's weird because I know I'm not capable of self-sustaining, but it's a nice thought sometimes. Um, hmm. I mean, I've thought about living in the woods, for example, before. I don't know if it's a direct parallel, but it's pretty simple, or excuse me, pretty similar. Definitely not simple, in terms of actually getting it done, because you have to build a cabin and stuff, and you have to maintain it. But um, yeah, I mean, I've thought about that a lot. It's been one of my like survival plans in the background is the idea of just living in the forest. I'm frequently on there for programming or the IRC. Nice. Who the fuck are these troglodytes? They're rolling herbal joints. Who are these people? Um, the idea is just to smoke something. It's not to smoke something recreational. The idea is to smoke something that just tastes good. I used the mega board on LaneShan. It has the last 15 freshly bumped threads. No, I do as well. Um, Riparizu-chan, so sad. I want to attempt to sleep, so I'll have to stop commenting henceforth. Have a good night, all. Good night, C. Um, let's see. I will always have no money to try such things, but read about wild draga as a flower petal to throw into whatever you would want, whatever you would grind up. Wild draga, blue lettuce, passion flower. I do something like that. Passion flower is a MAOI inhibitor that might make the wild draga last longer, supposedly body high akin to THC. Blue lotus is just a random supposed thing to smoke that cultures liked of which is thought to be a sedative or something. Passion flower is supposed to be a sedative too. Some might also smoke wild lettuce, of which it seems to be cheap and easily found. It's mainly analgesic. Um, Even smoking St. John's wort, I think, for depression. If not, I think you can't smoke valerian, and people like doing that with St. John, if I recall. Valerian making you sleep and doing whatever similar to a benzo, but the acid would hurt if you smoke it. Then again, I'm not sure if St. John can stand heat. I've seen a website of wild draga mixed with passion flower and blue lotus with kratom extract sprayed onto it, the partial opioid agonist. I don't know why he spelled kratom with a 4 and a 0. Oh, wait, yeah, because a 4 means an A. Never mind. Apparently, mullein has some benefits, but you can look at blah, blah, blah. Okay. Salvia, more salvia, and even more salvia. Best way to take care of a bad day. I like the way this guy is thinking. I like his where his head is at. Uh, let's see. I've already read this thread. Wait, have I read this thread? Yes, I did. I read it earlier last month. Are there any new posts you experienced? Is your brain failing to? Yeah, let's go to. That's enough. That's enough reading drug for today. I've already seen a bunch of these posts. Um, See, this is what I have to do is I have to reach down to press my keyboard. I have to reach down just to press my keyboard. And so, mega. There we go. I have to reach down to press my keyboard, and it's really, really annoying. It's also kind of in a way, though. Let's see, age of consent discussion, boring, peer to, ooh. No, I love threads like this where they just talk about tech stuff. This is always fun to read because I always end up learning something about tech through reading this. These guys are like the new wave of those pseudoscience loving all natural boomers. How do they buy this shit? I mean, I don't know enough about those, some of those specific plants they were talking about. I haven't really bothered with them. I'm sure there are some like sedative qualities that they were talking about, that they have. Uh, but I don't know. I haven't looked into it personally. I'm just going off of posts. Let's see. Some instances. Um, actually reading out all of these threads is difficult to do. Um, I think the software on this computer is up to date. Okay. But yeah, Lane Shan is a very fun, comfy place, and I like it a lot. I enjoy it. It's a good place. Um, Now I'm going to walk back and forth tirelessly. Yeah, I have to, because my chair is right there. So you can see my chair is right here and my monitor's right there, and so if I want to type anything, I have to actually like reach down in order to type stuff. And so it's not an ideal situation to be in, but it is what it is. Um, I'm pretty sure they just like to smoke stuff. Yeah, I have a feeling that's what it is. Like the feeling of just smoking something is relaxing. It doesn't even matter if it has an effect on you. Where like I just to have something to smoke in my mouth, I would smoke stuff that doesn't even do anything to you. Just to have something, you know? Smoking lavender and shit. How do you get that into your head? I mean, hey, if it works, it works. You know what I mean? Um, there's something relaxing about just having something there, you know? Um, just get a fucking weed or Xanax prescription. Like, but that's the thing though, it's about the novelty of it. Is that, and I see where you're going there with that, is that like if you you know, like you can enjoy those things individually, but there's something kind of cool. There's something kind of cool about doing things different every now and again, you know, of just trying out every single thing that you can. And maybe this is me as someone who has a bit of a experimental personality, who likes just who likes just experimenting for the sake of experimentation. But when people put forth ideas like that, it's like, yeah, this may not be particularly amazing of a thing to do, but it could be nice, you know? Smoking Smarties. Uh, I'm imagining these fools just sitting around and smoking fucking herbs. I don't understand how it's that, like, how is it that jarring, though? That's the thing. I don't understand how it's that jarring of an idea. Maybe it's just the part of the internet that I inhabit, but, like, experimenting in that way, the effects may be very minor, but the point is to do the experiment and also just to have something to smoke, like I said before. I used to inhale Xanax not too long ago. My doctor found out that I was getting addicted to it, and then he stopped prescribing me it. Yeah. Um, Benzodiazepine addiction can be very easy to get if you're using it to, if you're using it in a very depressed context. Like, if you have mental health problems, it's very, very easy to get addicted to benzodiazepines. So I'm glad your doctor caught it because dear God, the physical addiction side effects of that can be worse than opioids, much worse than opioids even. Um, or a lot of people would go as far as saying that benzodiazepines are like the most dangerous substance to be addicted to. Um, uh, those strong herb smells would probably make me sneeze. I mean, that's the other part is that people like the smells of stuff like that, you know? They just like how something smells. The journey to find the Zan Man continues. Yeah. Um, I mean, I had dealt with very brief physical withdrawals from benzos, but then I didn't keep going at that point because I was like, okay, clearly this is getting out of hand, and then I stopped. And I've used responsibly ever since then, you know, never using too much. Uh, and when I notice that a habit could be potentially forming, I ditch it right away. And for the last couple years, I've had luck on that front. I think there's plenty of people on that corner of the internet who get so into their own heads and little subcultures they just kind of disconnect from the meat world zeitgeist. That must be nice. It must be nice to have something that you're so into that you're completely obsessed with it to the point of like that just is the world that you inhabit. I've gotten kind of like that into the past, but never to the degree that other people have been able to, where like I think there's value to having IRL friends and to having people in real life who can who can like things that are different from your interests that and who can tell you, "Hey, this thing that you're thinking is dumb or this interest you have is a little bit silly." Or like it may, if you're sensitive about it, you're like, "Well, fuck you, man. How did you say that?" At the same time, like you have to have a thick skin about those kind of things, you know? Or there's something good about just having people who are from different perspectives. Um, Nerf community is cool. Is there even a community around Nerf? Yeah, never be in an echo chamber. Yeah, exactly. Like never put yourself in a situation in which everyone around you agrees with you. That's why like I don't ban so many of the people who comment on these streams is that I may completely disagree with some of the people who comment on the streams, but I got to keep them there because I got to see what they're saying. I got to be confronted with the reality of their disagreement, you know? Um, let's see here. But the broader world is annoying a lot of the time. I don't think the broader world's that annoying. It depends on who you're with. Where like when I'm around just normal people, I tend to interact without much difficulty. It's normal people my age that I have a lot of problem with, like people who are in high school. I just fundamentally do not know how to interact with people who are in high school. Um, at least not the ones who are around where I am. And so I'm just like stumbling through everything. I'm just sort of like going off of random chance as to what to say. But when I'm around like normie, like people who are in like their 20s, who are or just normie like adults in general, I have no problem interacting with them. Like I can just go. I can just go and then it's like I'm doing one of these live streams almost, except with more interaction between the two people, obviously, or however many it is. Um, and so, uh, yeah, it's weird. Let's see, it's hard to be disconnected in the internet anymore since the advent of social media. That is true. Let's see, external factors have kind of nudged me to be an internet addict freak, but I'm honestly a normie to the core. I can never be one of those people, i.e., you know how repulsed I am by hikis. I feel like shit if I spend too long without talking to someone. I don't get like that. I've gone, like I think what was the longest I went? It was an entire year only talking to people like less than 5 times. And I mean not even online. Like even online, I only had a couple uh text chat conversations where really it was forums. But yeah, I well, no, I did the weekly podcast, but it wasn't every week. So scratch that. That's IRL conversations we're thinking of. So yeah, I did the weekly podcast that year, 2016, but it wasn't every single week. A lot of weeks we missed. So basically, most of the year outside of that one day when I recorded that one podcast, I spent just never talking to anyone, and I did pretty okay. I didn't feel too bad, but Let's see. I feel so disconnected from my own generation. I'm too young to feel this old. Sip, make them like they used to again. Um, yeah, I can't even remember my own memories properly when I'm retelling them. Or I've told these stories so many times, and then like I'll mess up little details in them like that. I'll get them mixed up with someone else. It's almost like I have dementia. Or a lot of the time, I feel like I sound like the most coherent person with dementia in the world. I know that's wrong, but that's how I feel. Same here, Dadgun. Sometimes I can relate, sometimes I just can't. To be honest, in class, I can't interact with the people who are 3 or 4 years younger than me. It's like I'm disconnected from the people my age as well. Yeah, I've always connected and interacted with older people much, much more. Um, Based killing joke, multiple choice star, nice. Uh, but yeah, I don't feel the connection there, and I feel like if I had IRL friends who were just a tad older than me, I would get on totally fine with them, and I'd like to have that. I'd like to be in a situation where I do have that, and I think later in this year I'll be able to make something like that a reality. I hope at least, you know. Um, I can't interact with my peers, I don't have any form of social media, and I generally don't share the current slang. Yeah, I know that feel. There's a Nerf community, I was a part of it. No, I know there was a Nerf community. I know it's a real thing, but uh, let's see. Toy has a Nerf thread. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. I don't know how else to put it. There's one of my favorite songs. No, I'm generally like I'm not a big Negative XP guy. I have sort of a weird relationship with his music. Is that individual songs of his I really like. I dislike him as a person a lot. I think he's a pretty bad guy. And I mean, you can separate the art from the artist. It's just a bit weird when so much of his personality is tied into his music. But regardless, I like a number of songs, but there's a song he did, Computer Shy. That was the one, Computer Shy. And I relate to it a lot. It's just about the idea of spending so much of your life just on the computer, um, that you that it's almost wasted in a sense. Is because there's so many people. Negative XP is a lulbertarian class cuck. No, I completely agree. Uh, but I like his music, and but that song in particular, uh, you people make me feel way more normal than I usually do. Don't mean that in a derogatory sense. I don't really see how normal is necessarily even a derogatory thing. Like, there's nothing inherently wrong with being normal as long as you're interesting. Like, you can be interesting and normal at the same time. They're not mutually exclusive to one another. I mean, I try to be as different as I possibly can because that's just me. But wanting to feel normal. I don't think anyone should want to feel normal. I think people should just want to be like people should want to do what works for them, you know? Sometimes that is being normal, other times it's not. You just have to do what works for you. And I don't know. People should be proud of themselves. And if you're not proud of yourself, fix the things about yourself that you're not proud of. Um, because that's why I always say that I don't live with regrets, because ultimately every single thing I've done has led me up to being the person who I am now. And the person who I am now is someone who I have pride in. So even though I think many of the things that I've done are wrong in the past and I wouldn't do them today, and many of the things that have happened to me have been really bad and I wouldn't want those things to happen again today, I'm glad that those things happened in the end. Um, let's see here. If I had the choice, I'd be going out 24/7, making friends, exercising, all that shit. Shit that I want to do and am capable of. Sadly, I can't really at the moment. I would never want to be going out 24/7. I need a certain degree of time just on my own, or else I'd go insane. But uh, and exercising, I think that's a little weird, kind of like blue pill kind of thing. But I mean, hey, if that's what makes you feel good, go on ahead. Um, but yeah, no, I want to make friends. I'm happy with who I am. I just feel like an alien a lot of the time. I don't know, like a foreign exchange student. I mean, it's kind of cool though. It's kind of cool to feel like an alien because you can provide something unique. You can provide something unique in the conversation that other people can't necessarily provide because you're coming at it from a different perspective, you know? Having friends is based, I agree. I want to get a job as a courier. I think that'd be kind of a cozy job for you. I want to be one of those people who deliver shit on a bike. Yeah, you could get exercise. Yeah, it could be cool. Um, but I'd have to move to a city to do it. I would want to be a train conductor. I would want to conduct a train. Let's see here. I don't spend my time doing what anyone else does, but I wish I could. Not out of a desire. Oh, wait, no, here it is. There we go. We're back. Woo! Why does daytime have to exist? For what purpose? That's a good question. I hate daytime as well. Is what it is, though. Um, but let's see. I mean, if you're not doing things that other people want, like if you're not doing things that you want to do, then just change that. Like just do the things that you want to be doing. I know if you have like a job or school that's preventing that, then you won't be able to, or if just like the area you're in is preventing that. But try as hard as you can to identify the things that you want to be doing and then figure out how to do them, you know? Which you've probably already done. Like you're a smart guy. You probably already know to do that, but it's probably better to feel like an alien because you won't share the same shit as normals and you would come up with new stuff that no normies can come up with. Um, but like that's the thing is that some people don't intrinsically value being unique or creative. Like I intrinsically value creativity. And you can be a normie and be creative at the same time. It's just like it's about being the type of normie. Um, and like normies who get really upset when someone breaks up with them, for example. Like you don't even necessarily have to get upset about a breakup. Ultimately, that's a choice. Like the way that you react to rejection or breaking up with somebody is a choice. And so you can just choose to react differently. Um, you can teach yourself through enough exposure and experience and changing your mindset to become more healthy, to deal with the problem in a different way, you know? And so it like there's lots of normie stuff that seems intimidating, that seems like it would hurt, that seems dangerous, that if you just learn how to deal with it, it becomes easier. Um, well, it depends on what it is, though. In an alternative universe, I'm listening to Lil Uzi Vert and liking it. Hey, I like Lil Uzi Vert. Fuck you. Ed, no thank you. What are you studying? Music? Less so than you cool, less so than you expect. Other times there's a layer of irony between people who see themselves as normal liking people who they seem as strange. Yeah. Um, while studying anything is cringe. I like studying sometimes, depending on what it is. Uh, OED Loves Me Not's latest video is based. Um, I haven't seen his new video. I'll check it out. Like, wow, this guy is so nutty slash crazy and funny, but I am not truly liking them. It is ironic as a joke. I'm not making much sense, but y'all get what I mean. Yeah, no, I've recognized people like that before. Um, and I don't, maybe it's just a way of dealing with the fact that you're associating with someone who's weird. And so you don't want the baggage of liking that guy, so you have to coach it in a kind of irony. And I mean, it happens but I wish people could be more genuine. I think that is one of the things that a lot of people, when they think of what stereotypically like normal people are or what normies are, they think of that, like people who are kind of shallow and have to be dishonest about a lot of things, or they feel they have to be dishonest about a lot of things because it's what everyone else is doing. And that's not good. That's not a good aspect of the world we live in. That should change. People should be fighting to be more honest, not less honest. Um, Nobody could possibly love me because I would simply never allow them to get that close. I mean, that sounds like an Evangelion kind of thing, like that scene where it was like Sigmund Freud standing over Shinji's like masturbated comatose, and he's like, "Hey man, have you heard of this concept in Jungian psychology called the shadow? Yeah, I think when you come on your own body, that's like the shadow, and you're like, yeah, like when Sonic the Hedgehog and Knuckles Chaotix the Insulinda hit their prongs against one another, the reason why they can't get close is because of that, because they break each other and allow themselves to feel pain. I'm Sigmund Freud." That was the entire plot of Evangelion right there. Um, and so, yeah, that basically what I'm saying is that you're going through the warthog's dilemma or whatever that Evangelion Freudian thing was. Anyway, um, is there anything inherently wrong with liking popular, accessible music? Yeah, music that's more competently written, but if it just sounds nice or has a good melody to it, I just like it. Am I an asshole? You're definitely not an asshole. No one should ever feel ashamed for just liking stuff. If you just enjoy something, go on ahead. It means that, like, you're not harming anybody by just liking something. You're just enjoying it, you know? Your subjective enjoyment is your own. Like, other people's preferences should never dictate your preferences. Um, it's not so serious. But I like popular music as well, like accessible music. I like a lot of it. And it was difficult for me to admit for a while because there is a sort of shame that's associated with being the guy who likes the normie stuff. But it just doesn't matter. Your identity, your self-image tied to liking obscure shit. At the end of the day, it means nothing in the face of just true honesty, just being truly honest about what it is that you like. That's the most powerful thing you can do, I think. Um, I feel like I'm in a kind of limbo state where people like me because I'm basically a normal dude, but I can't relate to that many people because I don't like most of them. That sounds like a hard position to be in. Diogenes sought to be the most honest man possible. I mean, Diogenes was based. I want to be more like Diogenes. Um, I never fall in love or I never fall in love before, or I never fell in love before, except for this online relationship, and she hurt me so badly that it made me have trust issues to this day. It's rough, man. It really is rough. I think you're looking at Evangelion too metaphorically. I was looking at Evangelion like a shitpost. Let's see. Um, this conversation reminds me of Hoon and Tatame from Japanese culture. Nice. I love the way the stream is going. I appreciate it. Fun fact, Star has never actually seen Evangelion. That's not true. That's not true. I've seen it before. I don't know where you got that idea from. Um, it's hard to find love again after a bad relationship. It is true. 10 out of 10 stream. Thank you. Um, there's all this psychology, supposed religion shit, but it's basically a character study with nutty visuals. No, that is true. I agree with that assessment of Evangelion. Um, you are nitpicking and biased. Bye bye. Damn. Aruto straight up hit me with that bye bye over here. Damn. I like Thomas the Tank Engine. That's pretty based. I like Thomas the Tank Engine too. Like the animation in that show, like the old CGI, the way that they used to do it. I wish everything looked like, well, maybe not everything, but have you seen this anime series Popey the Performer? I love Popey the Performer. It's just like it looks like a PS2 game that was made in the year 2000, like right when the system was launched. I love that kind of CGI. I wish more stuff looked like that. Um, I know, right? You feel like you just can't trust anyone again. Like everyone is out to hurt you. Although it was just an online relationship, it still hurt me to this day. Yeah, no, I've had online relationships that were exactly like that, where like just like hearing a song that I listened to at the time when I was with that person, would would make me feel so much emotion, and I'd feel bad, like I'd want to turn the song off. Um, you know, so it can do that. E relationships are not as real, but they can be very real to you. The emotions, it is, yeah. You'll get over it and it will make you a stronger person. Keep living, brother. Yeah. Next time I get pulled over, I'm a finna hit him with bye bye. That'd be based. Do it. Do that to the cops. I agree. Thomas and Friends isn't CG. What do you mean? Wait a minute. Am I misremembering? Oh, you're talking about the late seasons. Those fucking suck. Hey, hey, listen here. I make do with what I have. I grew up on public broadcasting in Indian Mound, Tennessee. You know what we had? We had Channel 8. Channel 8 was Nashville Public Television. Hell yeah, you know I remember that shit, Nashville Public Television. We had Channel 8, god damn it. This was the year 2007, 2006, 2005. Yeah, it was the late season. Fuck you. Fuck you. Go get your Warthog's Dilemma ass somewhere else. But yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why I was so mad at No Thank You right there for testing my knowledge on Thomas the Tank Engine. Yeah, how dare you talk about the CGI Thomas the Tank Engine? Fuck you. This is my hill to die on. This is my last stand. This is my horseshoe finale. Ugh. Let's see here. It takes time to recover. Thanks, I'm somewhat over it, but I think it'll take some time to be completely over it. Yes, I'm disgusted as well. I'm disgusted by I don't even know what anymore. Let's see here. Don't even have time to know what I'm disgusted by. That's how you know how disgusted I am. With anyone else, I would assume they're joking. With anyone else, I would assume they're joking, saying Warthog's Dilemma instead of Hedgehog, but Star is actually that stupid. No, I was being. I know. I made an entire Evangelion shitpost about the Hedgehog's Dilemma. I was being intentional. But I probably shouldn't have told you that because I like the idea of you just being that confused. Of like, wait a minute, so is he serious here? Is he like is he being real? I don't know. I need to do that more often. Critical support for making people confused. Yeah, I'm not gonna give you any more hints. You people are never gonna know. You people are never gonna know the true depths of my uh I don't have another word to go on that. But yeah, you people, you're never gonna know. I ain't gonna tell you. I'm not gonna tell you from now on. Yeah, no more hints. Hashtag no more, not dropping any more hints. Hashtag bye bye. Yeah, that's how it'll work. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna, uh, I couldn't think of another catchy word to use. Yeah. Computer crash back. Hello. You missed the riveting discussion about the werehog's dilemma. Oh, that was loud. If I tried. Here's my idea. Here's my. Oh God! Don't do that again, Douglas. You already explained this shit to me already. It's if you don't like it's what was now that I'm playing music, it's hard for me to remember my train of thought. Yeah, yeah. I like what you're saying is not basically reality is a fan fiction and I'm my own self-insert. Okay, that's fair enough. I thought you were gonna get into an actual argument again. I was like, okay, wait a minute. But yeah, I mean that's fair enough. Fair enough. But opinion: Twitter has brought image board style internet culture into the mainstream and acts as an unprecedented space where all of society can gather and act like cavemen. I agree 100%. 100% with that assessment of things. Computer science, my life on computer science. Um, Wait, is it just playing the song again? Yeah, it is. Okay. Yeah, unsuccessful sleep attempt. R.I.P. See. But yeah, no. Twitter is just where it's where everything coalesces with one another. Everyone is on Twitter. Even people who hate social media are on Twitter. It's like everything gets put there eventually, you know. Um, do 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 do. Yeah, world is world is a fuck. People, humans out here. Stop agreeing with everyone. You're being the Dave Rubin of white people. Uh, but Dave Rubin is already a white person. So, like, I don't. The Dave Rubin. Does this mean that I represent white people? That, like, me, Star, as representing white people, is coming out here and is like, all right, so we're going to have a respectful discussion on the free market of ideas. We're going to have I love just getting two sides together to talk about the world of ideas. And then, I get the two sides together. Why is your screen black? It's not that black. I'm not black.com over here. I got a keyboard you can see. I got multiple keyboards you can see. I got keyboards everywhere you can see. You don't even know how many keyboards I have that you can't see. You know? You don't even know. Now you know. I just told you that I had keyboards you can't even see. You don't even know. Um, but yeah, uh, what the fuck? But yeah, so that's that's what I'm on about. Ruben and Star are Jewish, ergo not white. Oh boy, are we getting into that discussion again today? Um, but no, so I'm just over here. Because I like this is the thing with me is that I agree with most things people say when they frame them to me the right way, and so like I can see good idea in the world of ideas. I can see good ideas in what everyone is saying. Um, White people aren't real hot take. Race isn't real hot take. I don't actually believe that. I'm pretty big on the idea of genetics. Twitter is a cesspool of degeneracy of our current society. I mean, you get any social media platform that's big enough, and it's going to inevitably do that. If you get enough people in a room together on the internet, it's inevitably going to do that. I think there's a difference between small boards and large boards, though. 4chan and Twitter are closer to each other than either is to something like Obaway-chan. Yes. Um, with something like Obaway-chan, it's intentionally made in a way that's impenetrable. So the theme is surrounding Yume Nikki, and the kind of culture that surrounds that is going to inherently represent that. And the threshold for people coming in is much higher. You know, like just by the fact that it's so obscure, which is, it makes it more impenetrable. Um, I feel like a huge pussy for thinking everyone on Twitter is just so mean to each other. Is this a true reflection of how we are? I don't think you're a pussy for feeling that way. It just means that you have a sense of human empathy. You look at people getting hurt around you and you see, wow, these guys probably have feelings. They have their own lives. I have my own life. I've had my experiences. There are things that people have told me that have hurt before, or maybe things that people have told people I know that have hurt. I can see it. And that means you have empathy. It means you're a good person, that you care about other people. That's a good thing. And I'm generally not like a moralist, but if like speaking ethically, like I think the vast majority of people would see you as a good person for feeling that way, you know? Like even the people who are on social media who are participating in this kind of, like very bullying, sometimes like sociopathic kind of behavior, a lot of those people, if you talk to them about this IRL, they'll feel the exact same way if you really explain it to them. So that's a good trait. That's a good quality to have. I've never been on Twitter before. I only made my Facebook account last year, though, because I was being forced to by my family to join this shitty website, but then I deleted my account like in the 4chan days. Nice. Check out the Longmont Potion Castle, by far the greatest prank caller of all time. Seriously, nice. If I remember, I will look. Star is a huge race realist, we all know. Yeah, of course. Notice Me Senpai says Rio Durant. Hey, nice. Nice to see ya, Rio Durant. I like your avatar that it's Yoda doing State of the Union. Nice. Race. It's the realist out here. Yeah, race. It's the realist out here already. Jesus Christ. I'm being way too fucking loud. I was not prepared to read that. Yes. Oboe the musician, she's pretty good. No, Oboe Chad the image board. Oboe, they're talking about Oboe is based off the character from Yume Nikki, and so the image board is surrounding Yume Nikki themes basically. Twitter is like the mutant side of 4chan and Facebook, and also adding in character limits, which adds its own inherent problems as well. Um, Not being a moralist, absolutely, absolutely terrible. Uh, Not to start a huge argument. Well, I mean, I wouldn't mean to start a huge argument, but isn't valuing rational self-interest amoral? I have not read Stirner, so I'm ignorant there, just asking a light-hearted question. Yeah, I mean, there's no reason for it to become a heated debate. I think it is a reasonable question. Um, uh, like, in a how do I frame this? So it depends a lot on what you consider the terms to mean, where because everyone, the belief for a lot of egoists is that everyone is going to act in their self-interest anyway. Is that even if you don't know it, even if, yes, Stirner does not believe in rational self-interest. Rational self-interest is an Ayn Rand kind of thing. Um, I think I've used that term a couple of times in like a jokey kind of ironic way. Um, yeah, but like I don't I'm not an objectivist. I've joked about being an objectivist before, but that's just a meme. So yeah, like with the sort of sterner like egoist kind of belief is that everyone is acting in their self-interest inherently. And so if you're to look at like an idea like mutual aid, where collectives of people are working together to pitch in their own little bits into the society, to cooperate, as Pyotr Kropotkin said, what was it? What was I forgot the quote. It was cooperation is the law of society and competition is the law of the jungle or something like that. So if you want to live in a society, you have to work together with other people. Like this idea that human beings are just these atomized individuals that are completely separate from other people flies in the face of sociology, psychology, anthropology, just about any study of biology, just about any study of human beings that we know of. This idea that human beings are these total individuals that are completely separate from other people, it's nonsense. But that's what the objectivist libertarians believe. But people who are just egoists, people who take from Stirner, what they believe is that self-interest is always the primary motivator. That like no matter who you are, that always is the primary motivator. But that does not necessarily manifest itself into cruel behavior the way that the stuff that the Ayn Rand people would advocate for. Instead, it just it manifests itself in terms of just the things you do. Like just the things you do, the reason you did them is because either consciously or subconsciously you thought it was going to benefit you more in some way to have done it that way. For example, let's say you have a friend and you could choose, You could choose, without them knowing, you could choose to steal something from that friend, and it wouldn't even negatively impact them that much. You just don't do it. Because on a principled level, on a moral level, or, or like not even a moral level, just on an emotional level, you would just feel bad for doing that. And so, because overall you would feel more bad, you don't do it because it's not in your self-interest to do that because you would feel more bad. And we can find all kinds of examples of this, of people giving things to people, helping them. That's in their self-interest because it makes them feel good. Or that's in their self-interest because it makes the society as a whole better, which comes back to benefit them in some small way. Um, so you could break it down again and again and again, even down to the smallest aspect, and say that people do things that appear, culturally at least, to be selfless or altruistic that are actually very selfish to do. So that's the like the sort of like egoist position that I would come from, at least, is that morals tend to be these socially defined principles that people, or wait, let me respond to this first. So would an egoist say that when mutual aid manifests itself, uh, it's a further manifestation of self-interest just in a coalesced form? I might not be making sense. No, I think you are making sense. I think, yeah, that would essentially be it, yes, is that it's in all of our self-interest to work together. Um, Let's see here. I'm not big into philosophy. I just know what I know is right. Okay. I know too many people who themselves have moral codes but are still arguing over semantics like whether morality exists. Fuck that. Objectivism, not an actual philosophy. Um, I mean, I think it has all of the tenets of being a philosophy. It's a broad belief system that people hold certain things to that movements have been made out of. I don't know how it wouldn't be a philosophy. Um, Sterner's, yeah, it's not about rational. Yeah. Self-interest exists even in a collective. Like in an ant world, follow the pheromone trail for their own reason. And the original individualist translation leaves room for that. I see. Dude, that Sterner shit is what I've been believing for like a year. Didn't know there was a name for it. Guess I'm an egoist. Damn. Yeah. Um, Iraq is an individual with no power. Also, Sterner is kind of just dabbing on most people. He's comedic foremost, but post-anarchism focused a lot on radically progressive view of his text. Yeah, it would. Um, let's see here. Uh, what about self-sacrifice? Excluding desire for fame. I generally agree, it's just a question I have trouble with. Reciprocal altruism, irrational self-interest at that point. Yeah, yeah, I would say it's what Arato said is that it would be irrational self-interest, is that you believe it to be in your own interest, on a subconscious level. Pee Pee Poo Poo says I through zero. Hello, hello. As I said before, Sterner and thigh socks. That'd be pretty based. Yes. Yes. Someone donate to me thigh socks. We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna we're gonna make the star tranny arc. We're gonna make you mean programming socks, Doug. The star tranny arc is just me incoherently it's just me incoherently in programmer socks screaming negative XP lyrics about e-girls as I take 700 milligrams of diphenhydramine. It's gonna be great. Uh, Based, yes. Uh, Star becomes a femboy. Yes, I mean, people on my videos tell me very often that I look very feminine. I think ever since I got short hair, I don't look very feminine anymore. But I still get the comment every now and again. And maybe I could do it. Who knows? I commented on your Madotsuki Punks video with a rant. Didn't realize it was a joke. I have autistic tendencies sometimes. I can't always understand sarcasm, or that was part of the joke. Your eyes are pretty. Oh, thank you. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't think I made it clear enough that I was memeing. Like that whole video is basically just a meme. It's very it's a very mimetic video. Like you probably should not take seriously most of what I said in that video. It's basically just me trying to start shit, and I it worked. I mean, I got Madatsuki's people angry, so it was pretty funny, the reaction at least. That Scott Pilgrim song by the Negative XP fella is some really reprehensible shit. That guy goes on 4chan too damn much. No, I love that song. Um, and like I said before, he's kind of he is sort of weird as like a person, but I just don't care. Like I don't you separate the art from the artist, you know? It doesn't matter who the artist is as a person as long as the music is good. And I like the 4chan aspects of his music, you know, like the song Gun Guy. Um like that could only be made if you're, you know, interested in school shooters and 4chan and shit. And it's catchy. It's good stuff. It's funny. The lyrics, like, I don't believe in applying so many moralistic terms to comedy. You know, comedy should be free to be what it is, even if it's made by someone who is potentially reprehensible as a person. Again, I don't agree with a lot of the stuff he says. Like his music should exist, and his music can be good on its own. You know. He's pretty based outside of his music, like in his live streams. I don't watch his live streams, just because like I'm not an incel, and I think a lot of incel shit is pretty dumb. And so that's sort of what I associate him with, is like being an incel and like a Nazi or whatever. Like it could be totally ironic. I don't know if it is. I think he's just sort of a weird guy. I like the music. I dislike those e-girls as much as he does. But clearly he's just hating on them because he's sexually frustrated and it's kind of uncomfortable and he sings in a weird gay voice. Um, like uh, that's what I'm saying, is separate the art from the artist. Is that like uh, that you can listen to the song and see it as the character. Like this is the character of an incel, and this is what an incel would write in a sort of pseudo-ironic way. And when you consume it like that, like it's funny. You know, it's like, oh yeah, you know, this guy, he really is experiencing hashtag real incel hours or whatever. You know, it's funny. So I don't know. I feel like it's connecting the person too much to the music and putting too much of a moral spin on it as well. As some songs, there are songs about people being serial killers that are just hilarious songs. There are songs about people being pedophiles that are just hilarious songs, you know? Um, he claims not to be one. Oh, okay. Uh, I love his music, but don't know anything about him as a person. Yeah. You sound like a faggot, Big Poppy. Damn. Y'all take it too seriously. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, musically, it's just average pop punk. Mostly, I just hate that song because of the gay voice. Yeah, I mean, that's totally fair. If you don't like pop punk, it's gonna be difficult to enjoy his music. Um, MPP is the greatest inside joke in America. I don't even know what MPP is. But, yeah. Gun Guy 81. Yes. Big Poppy, that's kind of homophobic, my guy. Damn. Damn. He got called out. He got straight up DDoSed over here. Ripped in half. This is what I was saying earlier. Only on the internet will people criticize you for picking on someone like Negative XP. I love you people. Yeah. I love you as well, Big Poppy. I'm internet high-fiving. You can't see me. I'm giving you an internet high five. Yo, VRO, you homophobic. I think Big Poppy is one of the most progressive people who watches my channel. Now, most of my my viewer base is generally pretty like right wing. He's like a sock dim liberal kind of guy. So I definitely don't think Big Poppy would be a homophobe. Um, Imagine not being homophobic. That's pretty based. That's pretty based, my guy. Um, and we love you too, man. Oh, that's sweet. It's a wholesome moment there. Yeah. But it's very interesting for me as like I don't really consider myself a leftist anymore. I consider myself kind of like post-left, if not basically apolitical. I can never fully be apolitical because I still have opinions on shit, but I like post-left, like kind of out of not really caring, this kind of thing. It's interesting interacting with so many people who are on the right because it forces you to confront ideas that are not your own and that you wouldn't typically, come into contact with. And so that's one of the things I really like about my audience is that, it forces me to think about ideas that aren't necessarily in my social space. Come to think of it, I don't know what I'd think of a musician I'd liked writing sincere songs about horrible beliefs they hold. Who knows? Yeah, I think I've just about run out of steam here, though. It's almost 3 a.m. At this point, it's almost 3 a.m. I should be getting to sleep. Um, so I'll respond to the next couple folks here, and then I'll head off. Um, I've always been interested in politics, and I liked when you talk about shit in your streams. But lately I've been disinterested in politics to a big extent. I think it's better to be disinterested in it because ultimately, like, we have no effect on changing anything. Caring about things that you can't change only brings you. Oh, I'm back. I'm back. We returned. I'm not dead. No, I am still here. I have not killed over yet. You can still hear my voice. I am alive. Okay. But yeah. So it's like I was talking with my therapist about is that they were telling me like, when you put so much stock or care into things that you can't change, um, you're only going to be hurting yourself. And it is a good belief to hold, you know. It not don't make yourself care about stuff that you can't change. Personally, I like a lot of musicians, mostly rappers who are always writing about horrible shit, but they're just fucking around and they aren't actually raping and killing people. I mean, that'd be kind of based if they were actually raping and killing people. Like I love musicians like that, like Charles Manson and these people who have actually done, horrible things. I think it adds a great level of intrigue to the music. It makes the music more emotionally impactful and interesting to listen to. It's cool. Only 3 a.m. pathetic, to be honest. I mean, hey, I've gone, I've gone 4 days straight awake many times. I've been a high roller when it comes to staying awake a long amount of time. I mean, many of these streams I've done have been me awake for long, long amounts of time. But I have to be awake in the morning. So because I have to be awake in the morning, it's kind of important that I get to bed. Invite me on your podcast and I'll take over. You can go to sleep. I mean, I'm using the phone. Because I'm using the live streaming feature on YouTube, is that on the YouTube app, you just press start live and then you can just go into your phone. And you're just live streaming at that point. Um, you know, that because of that, I can't just invite someone onto the streams to start talking while I'm away from my computer the way I could if I were on like Open Broadcaster or something. Getting too tired. Yeah, night. 3 a.m. Krabby Patty check. Oh boy, 3 a.m. I'm a centrist. Nice. Good night, Star. Caring about climate crisis can at least help you prepare for it. I've read about scientists who give up on academia go homestead. Yeah. I mean, if you want to care about one thing, I guess at least plan for that. Varg Vickens. Yes, Varg be like, have kids. I'm sick of seeing liberals making lifestyle changes because of climate change. Nothing you personally do will change anything. I agree. Uh, Part of the whole vibe of Memphis rap is bragging and talking shit about extreme stuff that never happened. Yeah, Memphis rap can be fun because of that. Especially like the more lo-fi shit. Like at times Memphis rap can seem almost like black metal, just because of how lo-fi some of it can get. And I think that's really cool. I love politics in a vague sense. I do not. Lifestyle changes are bullshit. I want Appalachian gorillas. Yeah. 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 Appalachian gorillas and shit. Those people. These people love Sousa in a vague sense. Sousa? Sousa. Sousa. I don't know who the hell that is. I don't know who DJ Screw or Champion are, but I'll have to give them a look for sure. Um, uh, yeah. 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 Sousa Chief Keef, 3 Huna. Chief Keef is based. I love Chief Keef. Chief Keef's a fun man. Funny black man over there.